So this was the end of the first segment. Now we'll be moving on to the next segment of the interview. And this segment is known as the myth and fact round. So we will be giving you a few statements, and you just have to say whether it's a fact or a myth. And if it is a myth, if you can, you have to correct the statement to the right one.
So the first statement is non-communicable diseases like diabetes and hypertension are not a significant public health issue in India compared to infectious diseases.
No, it is a myth. Both are equally important. Non-communicable diseases are linked to communicable diseases. As I told you, it is now the diseases have become multifactorial. You cannot say that a particular factor is responsible for a particular disease. So there are means if we like if as a microbiologist, my major focus will be on microbes itself, but I cannot neglect the other factors as well. Even there is a endosymbiotic theory. The mitochondrial genetics are into consideration, and it is known that the mitochondria has evolved from the bacteria. And the endosymbiotic theory says that. So bacterial genes are responsible. The host pathogen interactions are responsible. They may cause different kinds of factors in the genetic associations. Means the genetic composition of everyone is important. So we cannot say that non-communicable diseases are more in high for infectious disease are more in high. It's on the case basis of priority basis. Whichever comes first, we should treat it first.
Okay. So the next statement is once a disease is eradicated from a country, it can never return.
Yeah, technically or theoretically, it cannot be. It will not return like the polio. If it is the WHO has declared that it has been eradicated, or other viruses or other diseases which has been eradicated. That is due to the advancement or due to the evolution of ourselves because we have become much more tech enabled or much more hygienic. Our environments, our habitats that has been changed, but due to this evolving population, due to the urbanization, there might be some carriers like the zoonotic villages there. Like there are many animals or there are many places which are now being made into urban hubs. They might be having some like the bats. They are having coronaviruses for the past many years, and from the bats, it is spread, the COVID-19 spread to the humans. There was a MERS outbreak in camel in Saudi Arabia a few decades back. So that is coming from them. Those species are living normally with those viruses and bacteria, but it is causing threat for us. So bioterrorism or these kind of factors, or if the two pathogens combine and they form a genetic recombination, they might become some more deadly pathogen. So you cannot directly say that it has been eradicated. It's up to our surveillance level that we think that it has been eradicated by the major percentage of the population, like 90%. How at what percentage level we declare it that it has been eradicated. Now, like if we are talking about polio, it has been eradicated in 2014, but still false positive cases are being reported. There are drives that pulse polio vaccination are being done. All the infants or the kids, they are being vaccinated for polio itself. So why the government is investing in it? Why they are using it? Because there is a chance of 1% that it might re-emerge. And now if it will re-emerge, that will pose much more severe threat than the previous one.
So the next question is myth or fact? Heat sterilization always kills every type of infectious agent, including prions.
No, actually, what happens is that heat sterilization or the different kinds of sterilization, maybe moist heat sterilization or dry heat sterilization, they act on the cell wall or the membrane of the bacteria or the fungus or parasite. But the prions are infectious proteins. They are much more heat resistant. At least they are resistant up to the level of 600 degrees Celsius. So they are much more resistant and they are just tiny particles of protein. Even what we are studying nanotechnology as a part, now the viruses have been reported as prefabricated nanoparticles. So we can keep it in a reservoir if it is not using the cellular machinery. You can store your viruses in a box So it is prefabricated. The nature has already prefabricated up to a nano level, and there are many viral vectors or viral genes which are responsible for to delivery of vaccines and all. So these viruses and prions are much more deadlier, and they cannot be just killed by the heat or sterilization.
Right. So moving on to the last question. Myth or fact, once a person recovers from a viral infection, they always develop a lifelong immunity.
Yeah, they develop a lifelong immunity, but that immunity is not for a lifelong period. Like even the vaccines, like hepatitis vaccines are given, or any vaccine, even in the COVID also, the vaccines were given. The immunity is for a given defined time period for 10 years or 20 years. You need to get booster doses, or you need to get other doses as well, because the immunity which we develop passively by a infection, or we develop it by some infection, it may re-emerge or it may come into a different form, and it may cause a different immunogenic response from ourselves. So we cannot say technically that once we are infected, it is on the higher side that we won't develop that much severe complications, because our body will be knowing that it is somewhat similar to that pathogen which has been infected to our body. So the response of our body will not be severe, will not be facing having so much severe issues with it. But to say that completely will not have any effect is myth. We'll have some response, because in COVID also, every the world has seen that each individual was behaving different with COVID-19 infection, or even with vaccine. Few people have immunogenic responses with vaccine effect also. So you
Right.
cannot say which who how it will act in different individual.
So with that, we come to the end of our interview. Thank you so much for the session. It was really insightful and enlightening. Do you have any few words that you would like to tell before we end the interview?
Uh, Yeah, I would like to congratulate you all, and for your time, for your investment in this kind of interactive session. And thank you so much for inviting me for such an interaction. And it is very nice to see you both interact with me and get to know about the details which I have done. And with so much interest, you all listen to my story. You didn't get bored. At times, what happens is that people say that we are getting bored, we are not interested, because in our country, research and development or research is not as much given importance as compared to the Western world. The GDP is more interested here. There is we more talk about CEOs. We talk about money. We talk about each and everything, film industry, cricket, everything. But what happens is that a lot more interest should be given into research and development, because that is the only thing that will make us more self-reliant. Not even make in India. Like there was a Nobel conclave recently in Bangalore. There was a Nobel Prize winner in physics. He told that okay, the government is telling that make in India, but don't use the technology of the Western world and make in India.
Right.
Develop your own technology, develop your own things, then make in India. So discover your things. Don't just use what Chat GPT they have made in US, and we are users. So we are more into users rather than developers. So we have much more innovative minds. 30 to 40% of Indians are working in USA. Why we cannot make that environment in our country? That our youth, our country should develop it.
True.
So for that, I think these kind of interviews or these kind of interactions is more important. The more we interact,
True.
the more we come to know about the practical aspects, what I am facing, what you are facing. Then only we can discuss and solve a problem itself. Otherwise, there are lots of people and number of people, they are doing their job. You are doing your job. You are studying. You will also earn. That is one part of life. Everyone is going to earn in life. Everyone is going to live with their families. That is okay. But if some destiny or some God has chosen you to be in this field, I think we should contribute into it significantly. We should do some part of our life, thing.
True.